Hey, pre-notification gang. Coming along great, Rip. Yeah, probably do some more Wulong in a bit. He's a tier 1 Jorsif. And the resub Luzia. There's a resub Shipboy RD and Luke Warmington. Oh yeah, we can talk about the Oscars. Yeah. There's a resub Valding, Caitlin, Trey, and West. Yeah, Last of Us Moist meter will go up tomorrow. There's the resub Lucky and the give sub Snarky and resub Adonis. And there's the resub Memes. And Tobacco. And Haroldson. And Diaper. And Oats and Smoke a Lot. 2 of the largest bank failures in history happened today. Oh no, wait, what? Wait, more? Besides SVD, what other banks had a collapse? Wait, that's news to me. What else? There's a tier 1 Tatsuyoda and tier 1 Vertebrago and the prime Sal, Ringer, Mayo, and the resub Eliza, Drunk, Merwem, and the 5 gift subs Morgoth. Thank you, Morgoth. And yeah, we can talk about that in a minute, George. Thanks to Prime Blaine. What other banks closed? Signature Bank? Yep, Signature, SVB, Silvergate. Holy fuck. Man, these banks are coming down. Coffee just made a video on it, did he? Oh, yeah. 5 hours ago. That's fresh. There's the resub Slated, Skeleton, Devon, Gold, Topics in the prime, Nugget, Blaine, and 5 gift subs Mitch. And the resub Ricky. Why are they closing? Well, I don't know about Signature or Silvergate, but the reason SVB collapsed is due to just a classic bank run. Like, everything I've read about the SVB collapse seems to indicate like a textbook bank run. I don't know about the others. What, Io? Io! There's your sub Ricky, Arcane, and Kev. Does she really? Does she know Sunny? That's awesome. There's your sub Ratman. A lot of the banks had big stakes in crypto, however, SVB depositors got their funds back today. Well, that's good news then. Well, not good news about big stakes in crypto. That's probably leading to the collapse, but the depositors getting funds back, I guess, is good. Right? I would think. There's a Marauder dog in the bits, Olivia. Who knows, Olivia? Yeah, his speech was amazing, Zaza. I saw that. Thanks for resub, J Rose. The gift sub. Lard. I don't think I'm allowed to, Dankin. I wanted to, though. I saw. Thanks a bit snert. And no, I haven't seen that one. Thanks to the resub, Tim. Yeah, we can check it out in a little bit. Actually, you know what? Fine. We'll check it out now. See what's going on. I'm too curious.
Two of the largest bank failures in history happened this week. But before we talk about why, I have a question. Why is Jim Cramer so good at being so bad?
True.
At his job? Just months before they both collapsed, he said this.
These are never, ever talked about. Why? Because it's too boring? I like to make money. Boring is good. Watch out for Signature Bank. That's my fave. SVB.
So, I don't know if Coffeezilla is going to touch on it, but this is very serendipitous. I was just reading about Jim Cramer. There's also something called the Inverse Cramer Fund, I think is the official name, where it's a portfolio where you invest the opposite of everything Jim Cramer preaches, and it's actually far better than if you followed his advice. But, interestingly enough, Jim Cramer is one of the biggest shills in American history, from everything I've read. What happens is, he is literally paid for, like a little fucking puppet, like a little fleshlight. People use him, the very elite. They pay him to promote stocks that are about to fail. So this is why you'll always see him preaching about something just like a month or two before it collapses. So he'll start preaching about it, get people to buy into it, so that way those shareholders can sell at the highest peak right before the collapse. I actually read quite a bit about Jim Cramer. That's like one of the leading theories. He is a massive con man. Just like a true and blue con man. It's wild. I can't believe he's been on the air for as long as he has. That's the leading theory, at least. Allegedly. I'll throw in allegedly just in case Jim happens to be watching. There's the Prime Bank, Kyrule, and the resub Bubblegum Kitty, D-Man, the Prime Trisket. I don't know what that is, Habram, but maybe. And a bit Sunny and Velocity. Well, it's more than that though. Like he is an absolute rat. Jim Cramer is a fucking rat. He is just a shill. He gets paid to promote shit stocks so that way it can pump just a little bit before a collapse so investors or shareholders can get out without losing their ass on it. From everything I've read, at least. All of the allegations. That seems to be the leading theory. That's wild, because I was actually just reading about this a couple days ago. This is the resub. Jesse, Poof, Churro, Muffin, and Tier 1. Inkiris, and the bits Bobby, Snert, and the resub JD, and Ninja.
Financial, don't you want? This company's a merchant bank with a deposit base that Wall Street has been mistakenly concerned about. This morning, we witnessed the second largest bank failure in American history, which naturally created a wave of fear as the day went on. Hence, the Dow ultimately losing 345 points, S&P falling 1.45%, and the Nasdaq tumbling 1.6%.
Is he drunk?
Now, I have to admit,
he's really simmered down over the years. He used to be like really coked out, but the last 5 or 6 clips I've watched of him over the last month or so, he seems so fucking out of it. Like he's perpetually in this drunken stupor on his show.
he has a way with sound effects. Now I understand why they call it Mad Money. But there is one thing Jim Cramer isn't wrong about, which I know is shocking. Fear is in the air. And many are worrying, is my bank safe?
Your mom
so
don't
today
count.
I thought we'd break it all down.
And Tier 1
the
Jesse.
recent collapses, why the government has announced a
Hey,
special
hope you like a
bailout,
carp.
why some
Thank
people
you.
are happy with it and others are mad, and, of course, what's next. Let's start with the facts. 3 major banks in the United States have failed in a short period of time: Silvergate, Signature Bank, and Silicon Valley Bank. Now, Silvergate was the smallest with about $11 billion in assets. Signature was like the mid-sized one, and Silicon Valley Bank was the
SVB
largest.
was a big boy.
Now, Silvergate and Signature
SVB
Bank
went big.
were well known in the crypto space, while Silicon Valley Bank was massive in the tech startup world. However, despite their differences, these banks failed for similar reasons at a high level, which is this: they all experienced a run on the banks when too many people demand too much money too fast, and the banks don't have cash on hand. Now, I want to make something clear. It would be easy to draw the comparison to the crypto crash in 2022 when several crypto companies like FTX collapsed, but there's an important difference. Companies like FTX were insolvent. When there was a run on their banks, they had no money to give. Whereas the banks we're talking about were illiquid, meaning they had the money, but when they had the bank run, some of it was locked up in long-term assets like bonds. Now, to be clear...
Oh yeah,
these are-
SVB was big in bonds, right? That was one of the principal things. I think SVB was huge on bonds. I think there should Floppy and Lucifer and Ron. I don't know about Signature and Silvergate, but I know SVB in particular was like a big bond one. In the Bits Hero.
Not the same things
Welcome, Ducky.
at all. But things can get a little fuzzy in the details. For example, when a bank run happens, what can start as a liquidity problem can become an insolvency problem if the bank has to sell what they have for cash. And let me explain. One of the safest investments is considered to be treasury bonds. Your grandparents probably invest in it. Banks invest in them, both for the same reason.
My grandparents
they provide
did,
a stable
for sure.
rate of return. So say your Signature Bank, right? You've got billions of dollars in customer assets. Where do you put it? Well, into treasury bonds, which let's say earn you 1% a year. You keep some cash on hand for withdrawals, but you figure, look, if I need to sell these, I can sell my bonds, right? But what happens if interest rates rise really quickly? Well, suddenly you have this 5-year bond you bought a year ago, which gives you 1% a year. But now the government is selling the same 5-year bond and offering 5%. Because of that, now your bond's value on the open market drops. It's no longer even worth what you paid for it because it's giving less interest than other bonds. And so if you try to sell that, well, now you lose money. Now, to be clear, if you held the bond to maturity, well, you would still make that 1% and not lose anything. But when depositors are asking for cash, it's simply not an option to hold on.
Yeah,
now,
you
I
have
know
to-
that
you
seems
have to try and make
complicated,
it
but
whole.
the essence of it is this. Banks were forced to sell long-term assets that they didn't want to sell, like bonds, and they took losses because of these bank runs. Because of that, what started as a liquidity crisis became an insolvency crisis, and that's why they got shut down, because they weren't going to be able to service all those withdrawals. So now what, right? Doesn't the government guarantee bank deposits? Why are we even talking about this? Well,
Thanks for some Jumbo,
they
Spooky,
kind of
and
do.
Woody.
The
and
FDIC
Tony,
insures
and
up
Meat.
to $250,000 per account. However, at places like Silicon Valley Bank, they had a lot of accounts with a lot more than that. Because as we spoke of, they hosted a lot of venture capital startups that might have had...
God damn, that's right. This was Roku. Roku got blasted. Not super familiar with Circle, but Jesus Christ. Even Roblox. Goodness.
anywhere from $10 to $50 million in there. And suddenly, that company, which was healthy yesterday, now can't get access to that money. And can't
only
pay
FDIC
payroll
insured up to
because their bank
$250K.
failed.
Yikes.
And this triggered a huge response from many in Silicon Valley to call for depositors to have their money guaranteed, with people like Jason Calacanis saying, you should be absolutely terrified right now. That is the proper reaction to a bank run and contagion. Guarantee all deposits up to $10 million or this will spiral into chaos. And comments like this sparked a huge debate on whether the government should or would get involved. Ultimately, with the answer coming on Sunday when the U.S. Treasury said this, quote, depositors will have access to all of their money. And there you have it. The U.S. government is stepping in to save not only Silicon Valley Bank, but also Signature Bank as well. They did this citing a systemic risk exception, which really boils down to a single idea. Please don't panic, guys. Please don't take out your money. Ultimately, the U.S. government doesn't want you worried about your bank deposits. However, not everyone saw this as a win. Many were quick to point out that, once again, the government only seems to step in to help a certain type of person. Quote, Mark Cuban, bail out Silicon Valley Bank tonight. Feds, approved. Goldman Sachs needs $824 billion. Approved. JP Morgan Chase needs $416 billion. Approved. Average Joe, my wife has cancer. Can we get Medicare? We're broke. Now, I do have to tell you that those in favor of the Fed's actions will tell you that this is an unfair characterization, that it's not the super rich getting bailed out. They'll point out that this isn't a traditional bailout at all because it only applies to the depositors and that executives and shareholders will get nothing. And that sounds good, except for the fact that some executives and shareholders in Silicon Valley Bank had already cashed out, with Greg Becker, the CEO, selling $3.6 million worth of his shares right before their collapse. And
that's not suspicious.
Gets even worse when you consider that
totally
Greg
normal.
Becker was one of the people who lobbied to deregulate his own bank. According to Heather Landy of Quartz, quote, the ability of these banks to fly under the radar in the U.S. was no accident. Greg Becker, SVB's CEO, lobbied U.S. officials several years ago to raise the asset threshold at which banks would be considered systemically important. So let's get this straight. They faced less regulatory scrutiny because they weren't systemically important, according to them, but when everything goes wrong, they're systemically risky and must be bailed out. It's a classic case of wanting it both ways. Now, again, this isn't the same as the full bailouts we saw in 2008. And regardless of whether you land on whether there should have been or should not have been a bailout, the idea that systemically risky banks should get special treatment and regular banks, I guess, don't, sends a pretty clear signal. If you're rich, you should move your money into banks that are too big to fail. Otherwise, you run a systemic risk of ending up on Jim Cramer, feeling like this.
Jesus Christ. Well, that was a really succinct breakdown of it. Nice. Yeah, so bank run. Across the board then, eh? Thanks to the resub Mac, Alstanda, and the Prime Moss, and Schlorpo, and the Bit Snert, and Chris. I did not see that, Chris. It sounds awful, though. Thanks to the resub Broly. Bond's gonna go down because that's how feds do bailout. Yeah, that sounds right, but I don't know. Thanks to the resub dude. I don't know if I've seen that one. Hitman. Thanks to Prime Mustard. Did you watch Faze Teeko's video? Oh, no, I forgot to. Is it on YouTube or is it just on Twitter? Oh, no, it's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I have a good idea of exactly what's going to be discussed here. I would wager a guess that all of the original Faze members are at the mercy of all of the suits that have been brought in and took control of Faze. Same stuff Rain was saying? Yep, that sounds about right. There's the Prime Tiger and the Bits Dowland and Chris.
The fact that I have to sit here and make a video as someone who's been a member for 12 years to get anyone's attention, to be taken seriously, is crazy to me. I've tried to solve this privately for years. For fucking years. The fact that I care this much and I'm not even a real owner. Everyone has made it very clear that I'm not an owner and I'm not even near any of the top dogs, and I don't matter for shit. You've showed me over and over and over again that I do not mean shit to you all. How are you gonna be the biggest organization in the world? Leaders in this scene, pushing this scene forward, pushing this industry forward, leading by example, and you can't even take care of your members that's been in for 12 fucking years. I've never claimed to be...
Well, it's because that's the whole space. It got infested with Silicon Valley types. They assumed aggressive control of these organizations, probably by flashing tons of money in the face of young men that established them, like in this Faze example. You had these young kids, Call of Duty kids, see these like really established businessmen coming in, waving fat fucking stacks, and they give up too much control of the company, and before they realize what that actually means, they end up in a position like this, where these suits have no fucking idea on what exactly the company even produces, what the product is. They don't care about the people in it. It's all supposed to generate money, and they don't know how to do that. So now you have Faze being public, worth less than a stick of gum. They have no way of righting that ship. They continue to spend money on brand recognition plays, which don't equal money in the bank, so it continues to spiral out of control. We have seen it with so many fucking esports orgs now. 100%. It's a goddamn shame. There's a resub Aaron graphic and the Prime Slade. Investors ruin everything, it seems. Well, it's not just investors. So a lot of these suits come in and try and like... I don't want to say like sell people on a delusion, because Faze is the most well-known gaming brand. Like it's a normie brand. It's breached the normie market. Kids know it even like in school, right? So it does have brand play, and you would think that translates to money, but in this space it's unique where it almost never does. So they're losing so much money because they bought so many creators all at once and still had no idea what to do with them. Like, they spend tons of money on content. You remember, like, the millions they poured into, like, Be the Next Faze member contest? And, like, no one watched it. They had, like, 200 peak viewers on that whole thing. It was, like, this live stream series that only got, like, an average of 50 viewers. Most of you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Case in point. They spend so much money on things because they don't know what the product is. They tried to corporatize it, but outside of, like, the Faze members, it was just suits trying to make number decisions that don't actually work. Like, it's so misguided. They have people at the helm that don't know the space. They don't know what they're doing. And then they shit on people that have been there since the beginning. All of that's been publicized. Not surprising. It sucks. I feel bad for them. They were young kids that got taken advantage of by the suits. The resub Repzion, Kentucky, Mog, Queef, Crowned, Arthur in the Prime. Sarah. Yep, that's true, Ryan. Thanks for resub Prodigy. Just greed always will be. Well, it's more than greed because it's super misplaced. For example, buying Snoop Dogg. What the fuck has Snoop Dogg done for Faze? Besides take one picture where he had a Faze necklace. Has he even been in a single piece of content? That's a genuine question. I don't know if he has. Let me see. I don't think... I'm fairly confident he hasn't been in a piece of content since the announcement. It looks like March 7th, when he signed, is the last thing he's been in for them. Like, that is a worthless spend. Completely fucking worthless. And I guarantee it was an equity play. I guarantee not only did they pay him, they gave him stock in Faze. That's fucking worthless. He doesn't do anything for them. But they think because it's Snoop Dogg with a name like that, somehow him being on board is going to translate to money in the bank to start getting more in the green. Somehow, magically, but it never does. And then all of their esports teams are a huge expense. Even when they're good, they still don't make money off them because the salaries are so expensive, travel is so expensive, and unless they're getting first place and they're taking like 30% of the prize money, it doesn't offset the cost of what they're spending. So they're tossing even more money into the fire pit, and then they have like 90 creators and like a crazy large content team that produces shit that no one's watching. Like they have no way of making money. They're so fucking trapped. Thanks to the resub. Go Blue, Well, Prov, C Money in the tier 1 random and the prime fry. Yeah, probably Ryan. Thanks to the bits Kai and the gift sub. Tortellini.
Apex Banks, Tempers, Reigns level, okay? I never claimed to be them. I never claimed to be an owner, a leader, any of that sort, okay? I know my place, and they've made it very sure what my place is. Like, I've never tried to get what they have. I've never tried to be them. Like, trust me, okay? I'm not delusional. It's this leading me on with fake promises, with just lies, and then never owning up to it, always blaming someone else. Do you want to hear something even crazier? The only contract I've ever had with Faze, guess what contract that is? The only contract I ever had.
80-20. 80-20.
The Tfue contract. It's the only
80-20.
contract I ever had with Faze.
Yep.
As I was publicly defending Faze on Twitter, everywhere, about that whole situation, I was in the same contract myself. Let that fucking sink in. I told them I need this contract terminated today or I'm going public with it. And they did terminate it, okay? But here's the thing. This is like 2019. Even at that point, no follow-up.
The Tfue contract was a big drama, if you guys don't remember. Tfue publicized his Faze contract. It was extremely predatory. Faze would keep 80% of everything he'd ever make. He only gets 20. At least, I think it was 80. Might have even been more. It was 80 or more. Of everything Tfue does or whatever, they get 80+% or whatever, and he only gets 20. That was the contract. Somewhere in that ballpark. I'm pretty sure it was 80-20. 80 to Faze.
New deal, no new contract, no like, hey, we want to make this right. Nothing. I always thought I was just building, so I never asked for anything. But either you're going to include me with you guys, even at a smaller scale, at least do that, or pay me.
The Prime
or pay
Mom.
me like any other fucking employee doing work for you. Twice.
The 5
I
gift subs
did the
Taekwondo,
champion
thank you.
collab photo shoot, and I have to go out at 7 in the morning to get pictures for the shoot the same day. For free, by the way, while you sell the drop for millions and millions and millions of dollars. You can't even pay me.
I've talked about that before. This isn't actually an exclusive Faze problem with what he just said there. A lot of big orgs will force the creators that they sign in the org to do their ads for them, and they get nothing. So, I'm not going to say any names. It's not worth it. A lot of orgs, when you sign a creator, they now become your marketing vessel. So if you have a Chipotle deal for your esports org, that deal will now extend to all of your creators, but they don't get that money. So they'll do the ad for you, and you take that money. It's part of them being a part of your company. That's the benefit to the company. So they'll do an ad for Chipotle for free, and the org's the one that actually takes in the money. It's a huge problem. That's something I've talked about before as well. I think that shit sucks. I think that shit is trash. Thanks to the 5 gift subs again, Tortellini. And the resub Biz Joe and the Prime Gopher and the resub EBN. The fuck is up with all these high-end orgs? Like I said, they don't know how to make money in the space. They don't. Nobody does. It is an industry that bleeds money, and these suits came in because they saw this crazy fucking like 15x multiple in the industry for some fucking reason because all the numbers were so inflated. They came in, you know, dollar signs in their eyes and thought they could make so much cash off it and quickly realized they can't, and they don't know how. So they desperately started making very greedy, predatory decisions, which leads us to today, and they're still losing tons and tons and tons of money. Thanks to resub Elliot in the tier 1 Amadeus. And the resub Kitten.
A little bit for the fucking photo shoots. It's just all this like where I always feel like I just owe you something. I just owe you something because it's such a fucking privilege to be in Faze, right? I've been in this fucking gray zone where
that's how the orgs get you.
Because like, no, obviously I'm not nearly as important as these guys, but I'm also not getting paid for anything I'm doing. I'm just in the middle. Hey, you're a valuable.
For what it's worth, though, Teego, they're also not getting paid. So, like the other members he mentioned, like the other co-owners, when Teego's doing those free ads for them, they're doing the free ads too. And Faze itself, the org gets the money, but it doesn't offset the cost, so it's still just zero. They still aren't getting shit from it. It's a complete fucking wash. Thanks to tier 1 stonery in the resub. Angel. Very simple, Tori. Salary. Thanks for 10 gift subs, Bobby. Good to see you. I hope you had a good day.
Member, here's a contract. Nah, because it's such a fucking privilege to be in Faze. I'm so fortunate to be in Faze. I never asked for anything, and I just said yes, and yes, and yes, and did everything you ever asked for without ever asking for anything because I thought I was gonna be included with y'all. Someone else can come in as late as last year who's not from this industry, never lifted a finger for Faze, probably didn't even know what Faze was, and get 3 times the amount of shares that I have, and a monthly or annually salary that's more money than
Celebrities.
I've ever been paid from Faze by a mongful.
Lil Yachty.
All of these years, we always hear
who else do they have? Snoop Dogg. Who are the other big
talent
celebrities?
First. Talent is the most important thing.
I know they got a few others.
No, we're not. You've always...
Does Faze have Bronny? I'm pretty sure Faze has Bronny. LeBron's son? Yeah, they do have Bronny. I thought so. All of those people are probably not only on payroll, but also own shares in Faze, like he mentioned. And significant ones, too, I imagine. Which is fucking worthless. Worthless! Thanks to resub fan, Benny, Forsaken, Idiot, in the Prime, Darth, and Kane. The actual idea of getting a celebrity involved in an esports org is cool, but only if that celebrity is actually going to be active in the org. Like, I have no doubt, in particular, Lil Yachty could have been huge for Faze. And actually, I think he did do quite a bit with Faze for a little while. I don't know if he still does. But, like, that can work. You bridge the gap between normies and your org. And if that normie lightning rod, like Lil Yachty, is enthusiastic about the org, a lot of good can come from that. So it's not a bad play, but they're choosing the wrong partners and giving way too much for it. He's the tier 1 Jack in the tier 1 campaign. Well, I own an esports org, so I've learned a lot about the industry. Probably Clarkson, yeah, I saw that.
You showed us otherwise. You've always showed us that these recruits that you make, the celebrities who get more, like Snoop Dogg and his son has more money. And more
his son has money too?
And a lot of Faze members
shares,
who were here
sorry.
from fucking day one. It's not even just about me at this point. There's so many people. Yes, Rain is right. For everyone that's saying Rain's tripping, Rainey's the only guy who has balls to speak up. He's the only one that's not letting them walk all over us because he cares about the brand. I care about the brand. And I'm not even a fucking owner like that. I don't own nothing compared to them. My opinion is not valid for these people. They don't give a fuck about me. I had to invest money in Faze to even have any kind of part of it because they had given me nothing. I've been in Faze for 9 years at this point. And the first way in for me is me having to invest $50,000 of my own money. And even in that whole process, they fuck me over. So I'm asking you, this is not a video where I'm gonna...
Damn, that's unlucky too. That 50k would go a long way right now with Faze public stock in the absolute shitter. Unlucky. That 50k I bet didn't even buy him a full percent. Probably not even close to a full percent. Faze used to be valued at $1 billion. Thanks to the tier. Already said that. Thanks to the Bits Taekwondo. Yep, Faze used to be valued at $1 billion before going public. I think it was actually right before going public. And now it is valued at, I believe, 30 mil. Let me double check. Sorry, I exaggerated. It was worth just shy of $1 billion in October 28th of 2021. So not that long ago, a roughly $1 billion valuation. Thanks to the resub Roger, Jack Bauer, and Vince. Thanks a bit, Snert. Yep, VC kills all these orgs. Once you start giving up that percentage to the suits that don't even know what the product you're selling is, you're fucked. Damn. Crazy.
I'm leaving Faze. I'm asking you, am I in Faze? Because I've been in for 12 years, and you would think that someone that's been in for this long and have such history with you guys would have some kind of deal with you and a contract with you, an incentive with you to move forward with you. There's nothing for me at this point with Faze. There's nothing. Like, I don't have a salary. I don't have anything to work towards. I don't have, like, no matter what I do, I don't make anything more from this point. There's nothing. So I guess you don't need me. I guess I'm not a valuable person then, you know? I'm just this small time. I should have just been lucky that I was even a part of it to begin with, right? I had over $100,000 in Faze's bank when we bought the CSGO team. I did get the money back like a year later, okay? So I'm not saying that. I did get my money back. You're just not gonna act that like I wasn't a part of that I wasn't like low-key one of the reasons we even got a CS team to begin with. And I'm not taking credit for making it happen at all. I had nothing to do with that. But if you don't feel like I was any kind of bridge, and I had $100,000 in a bank account, and I've been to more CS events than all of our owners combined. I give more fucks about that than all of our owners combined. They can't even make as much as a tweet when we win a major. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's another thing that I've talked about a lot. So since all of these orgs have been taken over by these corporate zombies, they do not give a fuck about any of the teams at all. Even when they take first place, you'll be lucky to get a tweet out of them. You'd be so privileged to get like a tweet out of it. Because it doesn't matter. They don't make fucking money off of it. And they're realizing that now. Even when they take first in a major, they don't make anything off of it, and it pisses them off, and they can't figure out how to monetize it. Thanks to resub Roger, Barbecue Cheese, Caffey Inc., and Nomad. And Honey. And AC. Show them. What the fuck do you mean? I don't make any money off of it. But Ludwig and I know that. Like, Lud signed up. No, he knew our financials. He knew how much we were losing. And it's a lot. But the difference is, we know. But the thing is, it's fun. The content is unreal. That's why you see creator-led orgs are kind of working. Like, it's not just Moist. You have KC. Carmine Corp is killing it. I think Carmine Corp is actually almost profitable, which is unheard of in the space. Carmine Corp is led by French streamers. Well, mainly a French streamer, Kameto. And they fucking kill it. They're doing amazing. And now you have Disguised Toast with Disguised in Valorant. I think even XQC's toying around with the idea of getting in the space. Like, the creator-led orgs are really like the only viable way right now. Because, like, it's content. The product is content. TSM is still doing well, yeah. TSM still remains profitable even with the FTX collapse. 100 Thieves remains profitable because of their merch and their acquisitions on the business side. TSM is like a unicorn in the space, though, for sure. TSM is like absolutely somehow able to do it really well. 100 Thieves is really smart with their business acquisitions. Thanks to Tier 1 Joe, and the resub Carver and MRP. Thanks to Bits Taekwondo. Have fun.
I care about this. Yeah, Faces. No, you don't. I'm not even an owner and I care more than you do. I used to pay for my own flights to go to tournaments with the CS team. I used to take them out to dinner, pay for the dinner with my own money, and never ask for a reimbursement because I just wanted to represent Faze the best way I could. I swear on everything. So I've done all of these things. I never asked for anything because I always thought, no, I'm building. We're building. I'm a part of this. Even though I'm less, again, I want to clarify it. I know I'm not the real owners, and I never tried to be. I'm never asked to be or never asked to get what they have. But holy fuck, it's disrespectful when you put it all together. Faze Clan insisted in making the clothing with me, like my merch drop and stuff like that, and I was like, you know what? It makes sense. We'll do it together. It's a good split. We'll make
Terrible
it in-house.
idea.
You fuck up the design and like the manufacture process, and then I have to go on Twitter to find out that these people haven't received.
You also probably got a
hoodies 2
terrible
months later,
cut.
and I don't even get as much as an apology. And some of those people got the wrong hoodies because you put the wrong print on. After that, I obviously don't want to do clothing in-house with Faze anymore, so I do it by myself. I pay for the designs myself. I found a manufacturer myself. Everything, okay? I do everything myself. I didn't ask Faze for a single thing. I get my own website, teego.com, pay for it, everything. And then they still contact me trying to get 20% of my profits without ever doing anything, no design, no help, with nothing. They're still trying to take 20% off my clothing drops and my merch drops and my rug drops.
Yep.
Because I'm in.
That's another big thing I've talked about. A lot of these, I think people have kind of got privy to it, so I don't think they do it as much anymore. But when we were first getting into space, it wasn't uncommon to see these contracts extend to anything involving their talent. So we'd even seen a contract that took Twitch sub revenue. Totally unrelated to the org. Like, if you were a streamer that joined the org, they were entitled to some of your Twitch sub revenue, which blew my fucking mind. Blew my mind. Like, it's totally unrelated to everything involving the org you're signing with. It was so shady. It was so fucked. But that just shows how desperate they were to somehow try and get green. There was no links they wouldn't sync to.
In Faze. You did nothing for me. If anything, you were the one to push me away. I wanted
Tier
to
1
make it with you guys.
immigrants in the
and you couldn't
resub
deliver.
DAO.
In a way,
Prime
Faze
Taco.
is bigger than it ever was,
The
but
resub
it's
L.
also smaller than it ever was. All of these collabs that we were doing with really, really big brands. You know what it is to me? All of these collabs that's coming out? It's like Band-Aid or silver tape on internal bleeding. That's
No, it's also very public.
They think talent don't matter. They think that we don't matter because they think that they can do everything because they see the Faze logo as the Nike logo and they can just do whatever they want. But there's no depth to it. There's no substance there. There's nothing behind that Faze logo backing it. There's no culture anymore. That's what these people don't understand. So I'm asking you right now, once again, since you claim to be the biggest org in the world, you know, the leader in the space, pushing this whole community forward, leading by example, am I in Faze or not? Because if I'm not, I would like to see a statement that I'm not anymore, and I'm cool with it. Trust me, I can stand on my own 2 legs. I have a very fucking good community. I'm not worried about that at all. You need people like me more than I need you.
Use of Universe and Brodini.
And I know you guys don't think that. You're probably laughing, oh, we don't need him. You'll be surprised. You need people like me in Faze. I don't need you. If I'm not in anymore, please make a statement. Let everyone know how you dropped me. I'm cool with that. Let everyone know you dropped me. I can't believe I had to make this video.
They wouldn't do
I
that
can't believe I
anyway.
had to sit here and say all these things.
Just quietly not
Because
sign.
You never take me seriously. And you never gave 2 fucks about me. Because apparently I bring 0 value to you. You've showed me over and over and over again how I do not mean shit to you. And I'm fully ready to lose it all. I'm fully ready to lose all these relationships. I'm fully ready for these people to hate me and never speak to me again. I'm fully ready to lose out on money. Who knows what's gonna happen? At least I can go to bed and I can wake up and keep my head straight knowing I did the fucking right thing and I fucking stood up for something. I didn't just let these fucking people walk all over me with all these lies. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But in reality, they're just paying their buddy more money than majority of talent has ever fucking seen who was here for fucking day 1.
Yep, none of that is surprising. I think all of that's... I think Rain also talked about that a few months ago. All of that's pretty much exactly what everyone already kind of knew was happening at Faze. Not surprising at all. Sad to hear, though. Fucking sucks. There's a resub Wheels, Church, Kaylee, and No Sow. The bits, Joe. Oh, Jesus. Thank you for the 20 gift subs, Snurt. Really appreciate the fat drop. Thank you for the generosity. God damn. Thanks to the Prime Samurai. If Faze goes under, you should buy the Faze CSGO roster. Brother, I don't know if we can afford that. Like, holy shit. I did, however, see Faze versus Vitality. I like the Faze roster. That game was tragic. 14-1 choke. Oof. Thanks a bit, Tori. And no, I didn't see that one, Tori. Thanks the resub, BK. And the resub, Megatron and Levy. The resub blob. No, we don't have a CSGO team at the moment. Eventually we'll keep growing into every goddamn game ever made. Our Valorant team plays again on Thursday though, just a heads up. I was wrong. I thought it was 8 days from the last one. It wasn't. It's actually sooner. We play on Thursday. There's a resub sheep. Oh, whoa. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. Thank you for the big 50 drop weight. Good lord. Good to see you again tonight. Hope you had a good day. Thank you for the generosity. God damn. And the Prime Sirius and resub Melvin. And the gift sub Dick Cheney. Thank you so much for that weight. That was a fat drop. And the resub Trog. You ever get a follow-up from Machinima? No, they fucking ghosted us. We finally got in touch with like a couple people, but that fizzled out, like, for no fucking reason. They're not doing anything with that channel. I feel like they should have been like thrilled that there was any interest in it, because it's a goddamn worthless channel. There's a resub Name and Andre. And Turtle. Hey, Andy. Not yet, but eventually there will be total. Thanks for resub Storm. I just do it all here. Sleep well, Snert. Would you ever get into the CDL? No, it's literally like a $20 million buy-in to get into CDL. It's a scam. Absolutely not. That is trash. When will the next MWL come out? This month. We're getting it scheduled for about like 2 weeks-ish. Hopefully. If everything goes according to plan. Thanks for the bits, Dowland. And the resub Smoking. I'm gonna resub Jason. Have you seen Cocaine Cowboys? No, it sounds familiar though. Yeah, we can talk about the Oscars in just a minute. Let me go to the bathroom real quick though. I'll be right back. Exit Prime, Jose. There's the resub Judah. And Pippin. And Ben and Barnes and Joey and Iris. Did I play Mortal Kombat vs. DC? I did, long time ago. Thanks, resub Ascension. And Ram. Yeah, we can talk about the Minx stuff in a minute. I want to talk about the Oscars first because Brendan Fraser did it, baby. Not only did Brendan Fraser do it, but Everything Everywhere All at Once absolutely swept. Oh, damn, Jesus. Thank you for the 20 gift subs, Snert. Thank you again, man. Really appreciate it. And the 5K bits, Bobby. Thank you for the generosity. Thank you. And the Prime Spongy. Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once was an amazing movie. I was really happy to see the success. I didn't like watch the awards or anything, but I saw the speeches afterwards. Brendan Fraser had like a full-blown like anxiety attack up there. He was so excited. It was amazing. I was so happy for him. And it was a super heartfelt speech. I couldn't be more satisfied. No, I can't play it, I don't think. Not on stream. I don't think that's allowed. A24 had a great year, clearly. There's a Prime flared and the gift sub dashing. Not sure Brim, because the price is always scary on a roster like that. Thanks to resub Jorson. Oh yeah, when he hugged Harrison Ford. I didn't know this. So from Everything Everywhere All at Once, how do you say his name? Ki-Hugh Kwan? Hopefully I didn't fuck it up. But I didn't know this. He was the kid from Indiana Jones. And the Goonies. I had no idea. No, I didn't know that. I knew he used to be a fight choreographer before Everything Everywhere All at Once. I knew he did a lot of like fight choreography. I had no idea he was an actor before that. Until last night. And Harrison Ford presented the award. Or, no, actually, it wasn't that award. He presented the award for, movie of the year or whatever. Which, of course, was Everything Everywhere All at Once, meaning he went up on stage and they hugged. Which is really cute because it's been, 40 years almost since that movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark? I think it came out in 84, so almost 40 years. Thanks, Risa Berserk and Ashton, and have a nice day. Or Temple of Doom. Sorry, Temple of Doom, not Raiders. No, Temple of Doom, not Raiders. I misspoke. He was in Encino Man with Brendan Fraser, too. Yeah, I saw that floating around on Reddit. He had like a very small, quick role in Encino Man, which of course Brendan Fraser played the caveman of. Also, the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once also directed Turn Down for What? This music video. Resub Poco and Beetle. Like the bits crabby. Depends, crabby. Hey, Space. Yeah, true visionaries indeed. He's a tier 1. Linguini. Yeah, I'll have the moist meter for The Last of Us up tomorrow. The movie was edited on Adobe Premiere. I don't know if that's true or not. That sounds kind of wild. Maybe. I know it's just a really small team in general. I don't know about Adobe Premiere. Oh, God. Good to see you, Rod. Hope you had a great day. Thank you for the fat fucking drop again. And thanks to Resub Benadryl. Thank you for that, man. Hope you're doing well. Unregistered Hypercam 2 movie. Yeah, imagine. He's the prime Justin. Adobe is industry standard. You export for the color grading usually, though. It's industry standard even for, like, big budget blockbuster movies? I can't imagine that. Really? That blows my mind. I've used Premiere like once. I didn't really like it. No way is color grading done with Adobe. Yeah, I think that's what they were saying. They usually export for color grading. Avid is the industry standard. I've never used that. It's a tier 1 keister. Jimmy Kimmel did pretty good at hosting. I just don't like Jimmy Kimmel at all, so I can't even imagine him doing a great job. I can't fucking stand Jimmy Kimmel. He's a tier 1. Marianne? Jesus, what the fuck, Snert? Jesus Christ. Thank you for the generosity tonight, man. I thought you were going to bed. Thank you for the fat drop. Thank you, Snert. Really appreciate it, man. Why don't you like Jimmy Kimmel? A multitude of reasons, but the biggest, he doesn't make me laugh at all. Plus, he always lectures, and like half the lectures don't even feel like he genuinely believes it anyway. It's just like fucking pandering. Just feels like blatant fucking pandering. You said Cody and Jade. He's way better than Corden or Fallon. That's such a low bar, though. Like, just because he's better than Corden and Fallon doesn't mean that he's, like, good by extension. I will always maintain there's only ever been 2 good late-night hosts. Conan O'Brien and Craig Ferguson. Thanks the resub, Mr. and Cannoli. Hey, Cannoli. And the resub, Jade. Been alright, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks to Prime Papa Seth. Norm is the best host. Norm never had a late night show. Norm had a news show. It wasn't necessarily a late night show. But that show went hard. In fact, I think the reason Norm's show got taken off the air is because he went too hard on a celebrity at some point or some shit like that. But it wasn't like a late night show. It was more like an evening news broadcast in standard Norm way. It was OJ. He went too hard on OJ, that's why I got canned? Okay. I knew it was something. I knew it was some celebrity. It's the 5 gift subs, Andy. And the resub Don and tier 1 Clinch and tier 1 Lewis. And the resub Weedle and Fentanyl. And the resub Terrific. And the resub Carl. People on TikTok are saying QT is canceled for accidentally kicking Jake and Bake without asking the question. Surely that's a joke. I don't think even TikTok would be that socially inept. Thanks to the bits, Chris. Yeah, it was wild. And thanks to the gift sub Weedle. You gonna play the Contraband Police game? I don't even know what that is. But yeah, we can talk about the Minx stuff. It was on Wine About It, right? Oh, Jesus Christ. Wrong wine. Maybe the episode hasn't gone up. Where she talked about what happened with Minx. Thanks to the Prime Matthias. It was the Fear Ann podcast. Ah. I saw the clips on Twitter. I assumed it was on YouTube, but I guess not yet. But, yeah. I don't like talking about Minx. That's been like a really sad situation. She's clearly someone that needs legitimate help. I'll pull up a tweet or two to talk about it. No, I don't want to get too deep into it because she's literally an alcoholic who needs rehab ASAP. It's ruining her life. Did the tweets get deleted? Thanks to the resub, Jesus. And the 20 gift subs, Champ. Thank you, Champ. I really appreciate that. I can't find the tweet, so I'll just look for it here. Where's it at? It was in the lowlights.
Watched my content, you've seen Minx and I used to be very
Oh,
close,
yeah.
and now I've separated myself from her completely. However, this is a person that I did used to care about, even though I do feel as though I've lost her. I don't recognize her anymore as a human. Not like as a human, but I'm saying like she's not the same person when I talk to her. I do not know what happened.
Really appreciate it, Champ.
I'm
Thank you for
someone
the 5
that
gift subs,
suffers
Lewis.
from mental health
Resub,
issues. I
Colin and
am not
Forzane.
kidding you when I say I've tried to do everything. And anyway, she reaches out to me out of the blue a few weeks ago and brings up Streamer Awards, and I have a moment where I think, you know what, this is again a person I really have cared about for so many years. I'm going to give her another chance. And I said, Minx, because she told me she bought tickets for the balcony. I said, Minx, you can come sit on the floor with all the other streamers. You have to promise me one thing. And she was like, what? Anything. And I said, do not drink.
So, you can see where everything went wrong. Thanks to Prime Bubsy. Minx has had a known problem with alcohol. It's something that she struggled with, something she's talked about before, something a lot of people had tried to get her help with. Unfortunately, it seems to be no avail. At the Streamer Awards, specifically at the after party, I believe, she was absolutely fucking hammered. Apparently annihilated. To the point where I guess, at least based on the clips I've seen of XQC's stream, she was like smashing up the house, like very rambunctious. She was like trying to throw people in the pool. Eventually, I think they had to get like assistance, and she ended up in the hospital, where she claimed that she had been pushed and had a seizure and was in the hospital being treated for seizures. And people said, that's not exactly what happened. Nobody pushed you, and it wasn't a seizure. XQC claimed that she was like borderline fucking unresponsive when help arrived.
I'm pretty sure like the fire trucks get there first, but she was just completely unresponsive, right? Before the dudes get there and it's starting, you know, like doing a thing. I sat down and I tried to be like, you know, yo, are you there? And try to connect and see if she's around, you know, like there. And well, I'm telling you, she just wasn't. It was just GG.
So after that, after the help arrived, the party was shut down. I think I read somewhere it was about some deal with the venue where things wouldn't get out of control. Clearly, since Minx was this fucked up, things were a little out of control, and they were forced to leave. Thus, the after party had to get shut down. GG, as XQC elegantly puts it. So it's just been this huge thing. Minx clearly feels very bad about it. She keeps saying that she'll pay for the cost, but doesn't recognize that the cost isn't really the issue. It's you need help. You said you weren't going to drink. You drank. It was a problem. It's time to get help. That's the big thing. Thanks to the Prime. Graham. Resub Mellow. Resub Cole. Well, when it comes to addiction, it's always like a mental thing. 100%. Like, yeah, addiction is a scary thing. Alcohol addiction, that's fucking terrifying. That ruins lives. It's a serious issue that requires professional help when it reaches that level. 100%. Yeah. It's a physical thing too. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously. Well, clearly, yeah. But it's not like it's only a physical thing. It's clearly a mental thing as well. It's serious. So hopefully this will be that wake-up call where she does get the help that she needs for it and gets better for it. Just a sad situation, though. Thanks for resub Adwad, Psycho, and the Prime Chris. If she was on weed, it wouldn't have been crazy. Why is it... This happens almost every time alcohol's mentioned on stream. People immediately be like, well, if only it was weed. What? Why is it like a head-to-head competition between alcohol and weed? obviously weed, like if you, obviously weed isn't going to have the same response as like alcoholism. Clearly, I don't even understand like the crossover. It's not like a fight, a battle where it's one or the other. It has nothing to do with anything. Like, obviously, if she just loved smoking weed, it wouldn't have been the same set of circumstances, but it has nothing to do with fucking anything. Literally nothing. You could also say, if only she was addicted to RuneScape, she would have just been grinding on her phone instead of drinking alcohol. Like, it's a worthless statement. Is the prime oxidized in the resub J in the bits velocity? In the resub Johnny. People bring it up because alcohol is legal and weed still isn't in a lot of places. Well, yeah, and that's stupid. I don't know how many times I need to say that that's stupid. Yes, I completely agree. But it's also, like, that has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. I'm not the regulator. I'm not making the laws, like this isn't a case, like, time to, you know, legalize weed because of this instance or anything. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, with what we're talking about. Like, it's not, like, we're not in Congress right now. Like, debating laws. Thanks to the resub Jaskal. Yeah, of course I saw that one, Sinju. We talked about that a while back. In the prime freeze. Thoughts on the U.S.? What is that? No, that's the first I've heard of that one. I don't know the U.S. MT head coach. That's news to me. One of the least talked about but worst addictions is an addiction to porn. That's actually adorable you said that because it immediately shows me you don't go on Twitter. Porn is debated more than fucking religion at this point. That is probably the most talked about addiction of all time. At least over the last year on the internet. At the very least. He's a prime donut. And the prime additive. Thanks to the resub Pop-Tart. He should be proud he's not on Twitter. Oh no, I thought it was a good thing. That's why I tried to preface it by saying that I think that's great. Well, I didn't say great, I said cute. Means the same thing. Thanks resub Static. Thanks the resub Model. And the 5 gift subs Goth. Thank you, Goth. But yeah, just hoping that she'll get professional help. I think that's the most important part. Because that shit is no good. Thank you for the 5 gift subs, Darth Dadbot, and the 50 again, Rod. What the fuck, man? Thank you. Jesus Christ. Thank you for the generosity. Holy shit, another fat one. When was the last time I had a drink? 4 years ago, I think. Somewhere in that ballpark. Probably close to 4 years now. Thanks to give Subtropical. And the resub Chris. Yeah, thanks. 4 years sober. Very cool. Thanks, resub Xander. Will the gentlemen go on tour? Who knows? Maybe at some point. Thanks to the resub noms. What made you stop drinking? I've said this on stream, I'll say it again. The whole, like, whenever I answer the question about that, I always use the word sober because everyone always responds with, like, congrats, super proud, making it sound like I did something, like, huge for myself when that was never the case. I never had, like, an alcohol problem. It was only ever, like, weekend binge drinking throughout college and a little into my adult years, but, like, 4 years ago, I was like, I'll just focus on, like, overall health, so I'll stop drinking. That was it. That was literally it. I was just like, I don't need it. It's healthier if I don't, so I'll just stop. It's a bit Tory. The gift sub unknown. I did not see that Tory, but I completely believe it. I don't know if I watched that whole thing, Andy, but I know what you're talking about. Thanks to the resub brain. You play any games tonight? I was totally planning on it, but when I went downstairs to say goodnight to Tiana, I got reminded that I have to be up early tomorrow. So I'll probably just shoot the shit for a little while longer and then go to bed. And go over some more wacky topics. There's been a lot over the last few days. So tomorrow I'll get a good session in on Wulong and try and beat it. Thanks to the resub cruise. What for? Going to breakfast. How'd you like The Last of Us? I thought it was great. I thought the show was absolutely amazing. I will say one of my bigger complaints, I was a little underwhelmed at the very, very minor role infected/infection play in the series. I understand that was never the focal point, but I do think the infected did a great job in the games in particular with the pacing of things as well as helping things feel bigger when certain stuff happens. And I think that was just missing a little bit from the show. Is the resub Jerlon? The bits Tori and resub Colonel. I see it, Colonel. Thanks a resub T-Dog. Do you think it's the best video game adaptation? I don't know, because it has to compete with Cyberpunk and Arcane. So it's actually kind of hard to say. It's very good. As far as live action goes, yeah, I'd say probably. I would definitely say as far as live action adaptions go, yeah. It is very good. Thanks to resub Shishi. And another fat drop, Rod. Holy shit, man. Thank you. And the resub Wubs. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Rod. God damn. Thank you for another juicy one. Castlevania also super, super solid, yeah. When is the anime adaptation of Godslap? We have the anime opening that should be ready end of this month to celebrate issue 3 coming out. And I commissioned the song from a band I really like to do the opening, so that'll be for that. And then next month we'll have like the full song music video. Kind of the same way Sim did for the Rumbling is kind of what we're doing with the Godslap intro. Or Godslap theme. Thanks, Resub Cinder. It is not my band. It is a band that I really like. It is not Troy and I. It is not the Gentlemen. I commissioned it from a different band. Troy and I are working on a full album. We got a lot of stuff we're cooking. Thanks, Resub Cinder and Mold. What's the current status of the speedrun challenge? You talking about the video? Because the challenge ended like shit 3 weeks ago now. Unity 1. The video is almost done. It's in the final stages. Then I'll announce the next challenge. We just had a lot going on with like the MWL and the actual size of that challenge. Had so much to cover. So it's just been a while. Did you hear Shaw is hiding to avoid an FTX lawsuit? I don't even know what you're referring to. Thanks for gift sub, Heather. I haven't heard anything like that. He meant Shaq. Oh, I was wondering what the fuck that was. Yeah, I didn't know who Shaw was referring to. He meant Shaq. Why would Shaq be hiding to avoid an FTX lawsuit? Was he one of the owners? I don't think so. Shaquille O'Neal reportedly may be hiding in his house to dodge an FTX lawsuit. No way. Not the Diesel. Why? Wait, why would he be on the hook? So because he was kind of a spokesperson for it? Well, then by that logic, shouldn't Kevin O'Leary or whatever, Mr. Wonderful, that douchebag, shouldn't he also be on the hook for a lawsuit? He wouldn't stop sucking SBF's dick, even after he was outed as a fraud. This is very interesting. What does this have to do with anything? Over the past month, the 7-foot 1-inch tall athlete. Why does that matter how tall he is when it comes to serving him his legal work? What the fuck is the point of that? The irony is that the admitted facts against him are probably the worst against any of the FTX brand ambassadors. How? Larry David had a Super Bowl commercial about it. Is Larry David on the hook? Is he on the chopping block? There's the Prime Astral Silver. And the Resub Cinder. Makes the resub way too thick. And the resub par blocks. Technically, Larry wasn't a spokesperson. Touche. But I mean, even still, Kevin O'Leary, that guy was the biggest FTX shill, and he was paid for it and everything. He has to be part of this then, right? So Tom Brady, Steph Curry, and Naomi Osaka. Where's Kevin O'Leary? Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier, Rod, with the SVB, Silvergate, and Signature Bank closing. We were talking about that. Coffeezilla made a great video on it. Thanks a gift sub, PBJ. Kevin's hiding in Cuba. I'm gonna take a guess that he's not. He's probably not. Whoops. Shaq is DJing multiple events coming up. He's fine. Oh, he's going to be so vulnerable and exposed there. Shit. They'll be in the front row pumping their fist to DJ Diesel and then tossing up the legal work. That's going to be a disaster. Thanks to resub Karma. Yeah, we were talking about that a minute ago, T-Chan. We watched it. Thanks to resub Snoof. DJ Shaq, here's a subpoena as the beat drops. Oh man, that'd be so hard. What a moment that would be. He's the prime dog. Resub Kudaris. You see the Comics Explained review of Godslap? Of course I did. That's great. Well, I don't think Shaquille O'Neal did anything shadier than the rest. Unless I'm truly in the dark on the inner machinations of their deal, like their contract or whatever, but he was just another spokesperson. Thanks a resub, Tom. Let me give sub Joseph. Sleep well, Anakin. You see Pokemon is looking into NFTs. Nah, but I'm surprised it took them this long. It seems like something they would have done quite a while back. Well, I have no idea, Silver. I don't even know the game or that situation with the developer or anything. Thanks to Prime. Takeshi. Did you see that an asteroid the size of 47 American alligators is going to pass by Earth tomorrow night? Who made that measurement? Duck Dynasty Brothers? Like, what the fuck is that? An asteroid the size of 47 alligators? That's the... What the fuck? Why not just measure it like a normal human being? Thanks to the resub JS3. That's not even easy to imagine. It's not. It's not even like helpful in picturing the size of this asteroid. 47 alligators, like I'm guessing tail to nose, right? That's crazy. That sounds small. I feel like that wouldn't be big. Thanks a resub, Cherry. You gonna watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie? Yeah, I'll give it a whirl. I still need to watch this pile of shit. I was gonna go this weekend with Aaron, Chase, and Meadow, but didn't get a chance. So I still need to see this. It's apparently awful. This is a crazy title. How terrible really is 65? Damn. Thanks for your sub, Keo. And the bits T-Chan. I have no idea. Thanks for your sub, Double. Stop saying the movie's bad. Everyone is saying the movie is bad. Everything I have seen says the movie is bad. But maybe it's good. I don't know. Never even heard of that. Yeah, kind of flew under the radar. Thanks for the bits, Crow. Good point, Chris. Play the trailer. It's not a very interesting trailer, man. I already played it on stream. I'll just skip around here so you can see what it's kind of about. No, I haven't seen it yet, Jay. That's what we were just talking about. I wish it was like Turok. Everything I've seen says it's bad. Thanks for resub, Zach. But we'll see. In the Prime Gammon. You see the Jennifer Lawrence movie trailer with all the subtitles. Oh, the comedy? Oh, what was that called? I think it was something hard. I don't remember. There's the bits teach on. But yeah, I saw. No, I don't think it was Get Hard. It was something else hard. I don't remember. Oh, was that it? No Hard Feelings? Yeah. I saw that. Probably won't see it. All the juicers coming in? What happened? Is X offline? Go to bed early? I just played the trailer. The movie just doesn't look good, man. I will check it out. I'll give it a whirl. I'm all for silly, stinky films. Did you meet Jennifer Lawrence on the set of Hunger Games? I mean, she was there. She was in the scene I was in, but we didn't talk or anything. There's a resub Julian and Jude. I will say, however, watching that live, like watching her act, convinced me that in a normal action movie like Hunger Games, it is fucking easy. It is so easy. Because she would just like turn up like very nonchalant. Like, she would talk to some of the extras. Not, I wasn't among the cool ones or whatever, but she would just show up. They'd be like, all right, now it's time. And then she just real quickly do like 3 lines, 4 lines, however long it was, and that was it. They only did like 5. No, they did quite a few takes, actually. She just wasn't in all of them. But it just looks so fucking easy. I have no doubt there's like really hard roles to do in acting, fucking obviously. But if you're just in like a normal action film or something, it seems very simple. Thanks a bits, Logan. And T-Chan. True, I was going hard on Doom. Not wrong, Logan. If it was easy, why did you not get the new Percy Jackson role? Because they weren't willing to take a risk on a 28-year-old playing the role of a 12-year-old. The cowards. Like, that's not my fault. It's not because I couldn't do it or I wasn't strong enough. Or my acting wasn't good enough. I didn't have the chops. They just weren't ready for the risk. That wasn't an action scene, though. It follows a... It follows an action scene, basically. After District 8 is hit hard, she goes to the hospital to see the carnage. She's looking around, and then the kid next to me said, "Are you here to fight? Are you going to fight with us, Katniss?" And all she says is, "I am, and I will." Like, it just fucking seems so fucking easy. I'm like, God damn it. Thanks to the resub tutor and prop in the prime. Yagarin. In the prime. Somar. Resub Mills. They're rebooting the Harry Potter films for some reason. You should audition for Severus Snape. I don't know. I like how you said some reason. Yeah. Harry Potter Legacy just sold like fucking 50 billion copies. Like, the reason is money. Yeah, sure, I'll play some dumb, stupid role in it. I don't care. Give me some garbage role. There's a bits arrow. I don't think they'd want me as Snape. Do an impression? Ruh-oh, Reggie! Doesn't exactly correlate to Harry Potter, but I guess if like Scooby-Doo was Gryffindor or some shit. Thanks, resub Musin. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Musin. Thanks to the Prime. Kaizo. They'll want you in the new Lord of the Rings film. You should audition. Hey, it's not for lack of trying. I will legitimately take any goddamn dog shit role ever. I think it'd be great. Sure. Even though Rings of Power was terrible. Like, sure. Thanks to the Prime, Cyric. The resub Jimmy. And the resub Mamanga. Anything about the Lord of the Rings game? Which one? I think most of the Lord of the Rings games have been good. Which one are you talking about? Thanks to Prime Kai. That would be cool, Arrow. Oh, the Gollum game? Yeah, it does look good. Have they shown anything else from that recently? Oh, they had one from 4 days ago.
Gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to kneel.
Here's Prime Tooth.
So shiny,
And the Bits Lux.
yes, so beautiful. My precious.
The darkness grows beyond
There's some
our
sports in
borders.
Crosby.
My people are growing anxious. We cannot let this evil linger among us, Gandalf.
The Dark Lord. What did you tell him?
Nothing. I swears.
The Lord sent me, his emissary.
This looks very different from the first trailer I saw.
The creature. Bring it back. Kill it, if need be.
We must find help. He mustn't see us. No.
Looks like a Pixar Gollum.
Him.
Yeah, he's got very kawaii eyes.
Don't be scared.
I'll give it a whirl, I guess. There's the resub oil or Ollie. Did I see Logan Paul's $16 million house tour video from a couple days ago? I did not. 20 subs for a Snape impression, final offer. Brother, I cannot do impressions at all, except for Scooby-Doo. What do you want from me? Oh, Harry. Oh, your father, James, took Lily. Damn you, James. It's the best I got. Here's the resub Nobo. Here's a Prime Moof. Pay up. That was pretty good. Yeah, you know, sometimes I can really channel it. Yeah, that time I was in the flow state. It's the Bits Mac. I'll look at it, sure. Thanks, Swoogity. Appreciate the 20. Thanks for paying up. Hope I did you proud. A lot went into that. I had to really assimilate into the role and become the character for a moment. My eyes may have rolled into the back of my skull when I delivered those lines.
If I was sitting here, which I've sat here before, I would have been dead. You're too old to be doing that. We're all going to jail for that.
Man, look at all the fun they're having.
Sucks ass, so it's amazing to watch him. All right, welcome back to the
night shift, ladies and gentlemen. You're working late, and so are we. It's time to clock in. I'm in the beautiful sanctuary of Dorado Beach, Puerto Rico right now. Part of the United States of America, home to people like Bad Bunny. But of course, home to a friend of mine. His name's Logan Paul. We've been to some of the other places he's been staying at. But for the first time ever, today I'm going to show you the house that he now owns. Some call him the GOAT of YouTube. Why don't we start with that?
I know it says that. So kitchen area, kind of like a lounging little living room, and then we got 2 bedrooms.
So is this a cool house at all, or
TVs in each room?
It's
more just like a Prime advertisement?
It looks like what you had at 1600.
I've left out some information. This is actually the casita.
What does that mean? I don't speak Spanish.
Right, the house next to the house.
Can you show me?
Yeah, there's a bigger portion.
Okay, show me.
Whoa!
This looks like it would look awesome at night.
It looks really good at night, yeah. Got a grill for grilling.
Finesse and bluffing, baby. What do you say? I'm team tomorrow. Look at the description.
It's a 0
or.
They need to get Innes out here to do a real tour. Yeah, this is less of a tour and it's just more like a normal vlog, man. Not super interesting. Now they're not even at the house. It's just a vlog. Thanks to the resub. Shit my pants in the bits Bartholomew. Thanks for the gift sub, BK. You watched the Vsauce 2 video on police chases? I did. I saw. Thanks for the resub, Luke. And the resub, Stormin. Do you see the man suing Buffalo Wild Wings, claiming their boneless wings are nuggets? Yeah, I did see that. All boneless wings are nuggets, though. So couldn't you sue literally anyone or any establishment serving boneless wings? That's kind of cheating. Like, I don't think you get anything out of that. This just seems like a worthless case. Man, fuck you, Washington Post. Jesus Christ. Get that away from me. Oh, interesting. You might be surprised to learn it's not the first time this matter has been amplified in the public square. The argument over boneless wings is a subject we've reported on previously just a few short years ago. So they've been sued before? Refuses to rename its boneless wings. Why is it always Buffalo Wild Wings? You could target every single spot that has boneless wings. He claims that the name Boneless Wings leads customers to believe that the product is simply the meat of a deboned chicken wing rather than what they actually are, which is slices of chicken breast meat deep fried like wings. According to the lawsuit, this makes the so-called wings more like chicken nuggets. What a fucking loser. Everyone knows what a boneless wing means. I don't think there's a single human being on the planet that hears boneless wings and thinks that someone just like scraped the meat off of a bone-in wing. That'd be repulsive. Who would want that? At that point, just get the actual wing. That's so dumb. There's no way anyone thinks that. This is clearly just trying to get a payday off a technicality. But this can extend everywhere. It doesn't have to be Buffalo Wild Wings. Thanks to the resub Irritated, Storm, Void, and Junior. And Luke. And Julio. Thanks for resub, honey. I thought that when I was a kid. Yeah, when you were a kid. You also probably thought chocolate milk came from brown cows. Doesn't mean you can sue when you learn chocolate milk doesn't come from brown cows. It's fucking dumb. This is silly. This is one of those frivolous lawsuit people. I guarantee this guy has done so many others like this. Guarantee it. Halil claims that he suffered a financial injury because if he'd known this fact about the wings prior to purchase, he wouldn't have bothered buying them, at least not at the price he paid. The plaintiff cites the fact that Papa John's calls its version chicken poppers instead of boneless wings. Domino's, meanwhile, calls its version specialty chicken because other chains don't call the product boneless wings. Halim has no beef with how such chicken is sold elsewhere. So you listed 2 pizza chain examples. You absolute buffoon. What are you talking about? Most restaurants that serve bone-in wings also have boneless options, and they're just fucking nuggets. You just chose 2 places that don't, which are pizza chains. That's cheating. Hey, thank you for the 10 gift subs, Holv. Appreciate it. Thank you for the big drop. Literally every local wing spot ever calls them boneless. Not even local. Literally every spot ever. Every restaurant ever calls them boneless. And they're just fucking chicken nuggets. Everyone knows that. That's not a dunk. That's not a shock. And it's certainly not misleading unless it's to the mind of an actual child. How did he get injured? It was a financial injury. Because he paid $4 for the boneless wings. However much they are. He might have got a big order of boneless. He presented his argument in person. Oh, so this is just a joke then? Oh, okay. I've been had.
First and then Jane, and then you. Okay?
I promise I won't take up too much of your time here.
Oh, okay. That makes so much more sense.
1212 Twin Ridge Road.
Okay.
Lincoln has the opportunity to be a social leader in this country. We have been casually ignoring a problem that has gotten so out of control that our children
now I respect it.
Are throwing around names and words without even understanding their true meaning and treating.
Oh wait, no,
things
this is a totally
as
different
though they're
guy.
Normal. I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine. I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. I propose that we as a city remove the... Excuse me, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
Excuse me. Come on. I
This
propose
guy's
that we as a
great.
city
What the
remove
fuck?
the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. These are our reasons why. Number 1, nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. We would be disgusted if a butcher was mislabeling their cuts of meats, but then we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing. Number 2, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless.
Whoa! You immediately fucked it up. They're not chicken tenders, they're chicken nuggets, brother. Ooh, you lost my vote. You lost me. This is not a chicken sommelier. They are not tenders, they are nuggets. He just made a big boo-boo. That's a blunder. That's a blunder.
I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. And then number 3, we need to raise our children better. Our children are raised being afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones.
No, we're not
We
ready
need
for
to
that
teach them
conversation.
the wing of a chicken is from a chicken, and it's delicious. I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. We can call them buffalo-style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders.
Oh
We
my
can
God,
call them
stop.
saucy nugs or trash.
Why not
We
just
can
call
take
them...
these
See,
steps and
he even recognized nuggets there, yet he keeps going on about tenders.
show the country
2 very different
where we
species.
stand, and that we understand that we've been living a lie for far too long, and we know it because we feel it in our bones.
Thank you.
That's great. I like that guy a lot. But yeah, apparently this is not the same guy. I didn't even notice. This is from 2020. Yeah, no, this guy is actually probably just someone trying to get some kind of little payday out of this, which would be wild. Some guy sued Subway for $4 million for giving him 11-inch subs, not 12. Did he win? Thanks for resub, Tony. He actually won? How? Was he served 11-inch subs every single time? Let's see. Why the Subway foot-long lawsuits fell short? Well, it doesn't sound like they won. This was in 2016. Oh no, they settled the case out. They settled out of court for about $500,000 because they weren't actually serving foot-longs. They were serving 11 inches. See, that's a little different though. That is like actually, like they're just actually scamming you then. This, you just have to be a fucking idiot to think that somehow this is a scam. Everyone just knows it's a chicken nugget. A boneless wing is a chicken nugget. It's not a secret. Thanks the resub. Cootster, Scoots, Ollie, and Tony. A nugget is when you form the meat into a shape. It doesn't... Now we're getting into semantics. Point is, a boneless wing is not meat scraped off of a bone-in wing. That would be ridiculous. That's an outlandish idea to even think would be what you get served with a boneless wing. Thanks for the bits, Tori. Then don't call it a boneless wing. But I just don't see why it matters. Like, it's not even misleading. You can make the argument for 1,000 fucking things. For example, if you wanted to sue Papa John's for calling them chicken poppers, it's not popcorn chicken. And that would lead... Like, this name is much more in line with popcorn chicken than boneless wings in this example. It's clearly not a wing. Why is it called a wing? I don't know why it started getting called a wing. I couldn't tell you. I don't know the genesis of the term. Chicken pops when it's frying, so it's not misleading. Two different kinds of chicken, though. Popcorn chicken is very different from Papa John's chicken poppers. They're not the same. Yet this name would lead me to believe they are. So why not sue Papa John's next? He's a bit distant. Maybe he will. True, maybe he will. boneless wings are mini chicken breasts. Yep. It's just a little chicken nugget. Everyone knows that. Now, how about I look up when this term even started? They're called boneless wings because the cut-up chicken breast is made to resemble a wing. I'm assuming like a flat. It's made to resemble like a flat, maybe? Because half the time they don't really resemble a wing at all. But that seems to be the origin. He's a tier 1 Mika. What's the blazing challenge? Oh, that's the B-dubs spicy challenge. No, probably not. That shit was miserable. It's redundant regardless because drums aren't even from the wing. Wait, what? Holy fuck, wait, what? You just blew my mind. At least according to this, no, it's not. No shot. This is it's from the thigh or lower calf sometimes. I didn't know that. I thought that was still from the wing. I had no idea actually. That is news to me. Wild. Huh. What do you know? Well, doesn't this whole argument fall apart then? Because he said it doesn't actually come from the wing, but then a very crucial part of bone-in wings is also not from the wing. Couldn't you easily make that argument? No, it's not irrelevant, because this whole thing said that it doesn't come from the wing, it comes from the breast. Thus, it makes it more like chicken nuggets. Thus, it's not a wing, because it doesn't come from there. But then again, but now my universe has been rocked that the drums don't come from the wing either. They come from the thigh or the calf. So this whole thing would fall apart, because then that would also be misleading, because it's not a boneless, it's not a bone-in wing, it's not a chicken wing, it's a chicken leg. So that would also be misleading and factually incorrect. No, according to this, nope. I'll pull it down. Let me go back. According to these two, I guess, reputable sources, on the chicken anatomy list from Koch Foods, the, like, drumstick, so, like, what you would get between flats and drums when you order normal bone-in wings, comes from the thigh, or just the leg in general. So it's not a wing. Thus, this is wrong too. It's mislabeled because you're not getting a chicken wing because it doesn't come from the wing. You're getting chicken leg. Wing section points the drumettes. The drumettes? What the fuck is a drumette? Usually you either get this or flats. I've gotten this a few times, but that's kind of rare. I don't really see these very often. The thing you get with flats is a drumette. Jesus Christ. The fuck is a drumette? Just a smaller chicken drumstick already? And what, this doesn't come from the leg? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's a whole breakdown. An anatomical guide to chicken wings. Here's the full tutorial, I guess, from the kitchen. Oh, here we go. Drumettes. Start at the portion of the wing that's attached to the main part of the chicken. This is called the drumette, probably due to the fact it's shaped like the larger chicken drumstick. There's one main piece of bone in the middle. There's some joints and cartilage on both ends. Drumettes are irregular in shape, one end is rounded and one is meaty. Then it tapers down as it gets to the middle part of the wing. The meat on the drumettes, while technically dark meat, does have a texture a bit closer to white meat, and there's a fairly high ratio of meat to skin. Okay, so a drumette comes from the wing. A normal drum does not. Okay, now it makes sense. Thanks for the gift sub, Jay. Beanie, and the resub Neps, Trouble, and Coyote. And the 5 gift subs, Goth. Thank you, Goth. And the bits Crosby. They don't teach us important stuff like this in school. Ain't that the truth? But yeah, for a moment I was about to have a fucking meltdown about the the drums being chicken thigh. That would have been a crazy revelation. I didn't realize there was a difference between a drum and a drumette. A chicken wing tier list coming along. We're doing something similar. I'll talk about that like tomorrow. We're gonna do like a March Madness of chicken tenders to find out what the best chicken tender in America is. Thanks for resub Turtles and Abriana. It's the diner down the street. Yeah, your local spot. Cane's will be there. All the major ones. Chat's gonna decide the seating for the bracket. He used to work at Cane's. It's garbage. I liked it. I've only had it once, and I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought it was fine. These resub gears. And the resub, or the prime moat. I have $50 on garlic parm going to the final four. Yeah, we were gonna set up like a bracket for everyone to fill out, like a March Madness bracket, and do a reward for a perfect bracket. But we soon realized that it's not going to be like the same low odds of having a perfect bracket during normal March Madness, because people are gonna obviously know which are the better chicken spots. So that just would have been a ton of money lost. You can still fill out a bracket, though, if you want. Just for fun. Thanks to the resub, Wimpy. And the resub event, Horizon. You know which are the better teams, though? Yeah, but there's something very different about, like, a sports match versus, like, here's Cane's versus fucking Frozen Tyson's chicken, right? Like, there's no day where Frozen Tyson's chicken tender is going to beat Cane's. Like, no one would ever put Tyson over Cane's. Like, there wouldn't be upsets like that. Thanks to the bits tray. Oh, I do love B-dubs. I really do. And thanks to the resub napalm. Hold on, sending a quick message. Don't involve McDonald's. Well, no, of course we're going to have to involve McDonald's. It's going to be a comprehensive, complete list of all the chicken. Find the best in America. All right. I should go to bed, though. I got to get up early. I'm going to breakfast. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. New subs, welcome aboard. Sub means a lot. Thanks for just subbing. Enjoy the emotes. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone, and thanks again. Sleep well.